USS Fanning was a Mahan-class destroyer in the United States Navy named for Nathaniel Fanning. Her first action was during World War II, immediately following the 7th of December 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. Fanning continued to serve in the Pacific Theater throughout the war, and was decommissioned the 14th of December 1945. She was one of the last Mahan-class destroyers. Fanning and USS Dunlap were built from the same basic Mahan design but slightly modified. Some sources refer to them as the Dunlap-class destroyers. History. Fanning was launched the 18th of September 1936 by United Shipyards, Inc., New York City, sponsored by Miss Cora A. Marsh, great-great-granddaughter of Lieutenant Fanning, and commissioned the 8th of October 1937. Lieutenant Commander East H. Geiselman in command. Trials, fitting out, shakedown, and minor repairs occupied Fanning until the 22nd of April 1938, when she joined Philadelphia at Annapolis, Maryland, to escort the cruiser as she carried Franklin D. Roosevelt, President of the United States, on a Caribbean cruise. After returning to New York on the 11th of May, she underwent overhaul, escorted MS Kungs, and with Gustav V. Adolf, the Crown Prince of Sweden, embarked, then sailed for the West Coast to join the battle force in September. Based in San Diego, California, the destroyer conducted anti-aircraft gunnery, anti-submarine, and tactical exercises. In the next 3 years, Fanning's schedule took her back to the Atlantic once and to Hawaii several times, all the while enhancing her battle readiness. The attack on Pearl Harbor on the 7th of December 1941 found Fanning at sea with TF-8 returning to Pearl Harbor from Wake Island, where Enterprise had delivered the squadron of Marine Corps fighter planes which became Wake's only airborne defense. The force made a search, refueled at Pearl Harbor on the 8th of December, and the following day sortied to hunt submarines. They made several contacts. Aircraft from Enterprise sank Japanese submarine I-170 on the 10th of December in 23.750 degrees north, 155.583 degrees west, 23.750 minus 155.583. Fanning sailed from Pearl Harbor with TF-8 on the 19th of December to relieve Wake Island. However, the island fell before help could arrive, and the reinforcements were delivered to Midway. In mid-January 1942, while underway for Tutuila, she encountered a blinding rainstorm during which she collided with Gridley, badly damaging both ships. After emergency repairs at Pago Pago, she returned to Pearl Harbor, where her bow was restored. She was part of TF-16, which sailed on the 8th of April 1942 to rendezvous with TF-18. This combined force, commanded by Vice Admiral William F. Halsey, Jr., and carrying the Doolittle Raiders, was charged with launching the first American offensive against the Japanese homeland. Returning safely to Pearl Harbor on the 25th of April after the successful mission, she escorted an Army tug to Canton Island and returned to San Francisco for needed repairs. The destroyer made 2 voyages along the West Coast and escorted 3 convoys to Pearl Harbor before the 12th of November, when she joined TF-11 for duty in the Solomon Islands. The rest of the year was spent in convoy and patrol among the islands. In January 1943, she deployed with TF-11 against the Japanese on Guadalcanal. From 20 to the 25th of February, she assisted TF-64 in supporting an occupation occupation force on the Russell Islands, participated in exercises and patrol, and steamed with TG-36.3 to afford protection to troops occupying Munda Island. In September she escorted a transport convoy from Naumair to Guadalcanal. Late in the month she got underway with Case, McCall, and Craven for San Francisco under period of overhaul. She completed the year in patrol and in training and exercise operations off the Aleutian Islands. On the 19th of January 1944 Fanning sailed with TG-58.44 operations in the Marshalls where planes from Saratoga struck at Wathia, Tarawa, Utirik, and Rongelap with a 4-day uninterrupted bombardment of any wet dock which precursed a later all-out attack. For the remainder of the month Fanning and other units of the escort group shuttled between Kwajalein and Eniwetok, making 25 strikes in 19 days, and providing support for the amphibious landings on the latter island. In March 1944 Fanning, Saratoga, Dunlap, and Cummings were ordered to report to the British Eastern Fleet, primarily British units reinforced with Australian, Dutch and French warships. The planned joint operations were intended to transfer operational expertise to the Fleet Air Arm aircrews, divert Japanese attention from American activities elsewhere and cripple Japanese mobility in the Southeast Asia region. HMS Illustrious and Saratoga launched airstrikes against Sabang, Sumatra, to destroy refineries, storage and transportation facilities. On the 17th of May this powerful force hit Sawera Baja, Java, where harbor facilities and refineries presented the chief targets. Detached from the Eastern Fleet late in May, Fanning set course for San Francisco with calls at Fremantle and Sydney, Australia, and Naumair in passage. On the 17th of July she stood out for San Diego with Baltimore and on the 21st escorted President Roosevelt, embarked in the cruiser, north to Adak and Kodiak, Alaska. On the 7th of August the President shifted to Cummings who got underway for Bremerton in company with Fanning and Dunlap. The destroyer engaged in shore bombardment and other exercises until the 17th of September when she again steamed for the forward areas. After escorting SS Antigua to Eniwetok, she patrolled with TG-57.7 off Tinian and performed escort duty with TG-30.2 for a diversionary strike against Marcus Island on the 9th of October. Fanning sortied with TG-38.1 on the 16th of October to screen a carrier group which launched 2 strikes against Luzon before moving in to support the late landings. The 22nd of October found the group underway for refueling and replenishment at Ulithi, but word of an advancing Japanese fleet caused them to reverse course, and the destroyers sped to participate in the action at San Bernardino Strait. After logistics were completed at Ulithi, Fanning moved to Saipan to rejoin TG-30.2 for a series of assaults on Iwo Jima, the first of these on 11–12 November. An assignment as radar picket occupied her until the 4th of December when she returned to bombard Iwo on the 8th. During the third attack she set a patrol vessel on fire. In the strike on the 5th of January 1945 Fanning made contact with a small freighter who tried to ram her and raked her decks before taking a torpedo which sent her to the bottom. Fanning rejoined the group for the bombardment of Chichijima, but was soon detached to escort David W. Taylor, damaged by a mine, to Ulithi. She returned to the tenacious force once again off Iwo Jima on the 24th of January and teamed with Dunlap to sink 3 small cargo ships. She then assumed station as radar picket and a rescue ship, operating also in local escort duty and in training exercises with the submarine Wolfpack through the 22nd of March. The remainder of the war was occupied with patrol and escort activities among the islands of Eniwetok, Iwo Jima, and Guam. On 19 September 1945, Fanning set course for the United States, arriving at Galveston, Texas, on 23 October 1945. Fanning was decommissioned under the command of Commander Ernest "Bud" Conant at Norfolk, Virginia, on 14 December 1945 and later sold. Fanning received 4 battle stars for World War II service.